Chapter 1, Part 4. As you get more comfortable with mindfulness, you can gradually increase the length of your practice. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Sit in a comfortable position and close your eyes. Focus on your breath. Notice the feeling of the air as it enters and leaves your body. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your breath. Don't judge yourself if your mind wanders. Just keep bringing it back to your breath. With practice, you will be able to stay focused on your breath for longer periods of time. You can also practice mindfulness in everyday activities, such as eating, walking, or taking a shower. When you are practicing mindfulness, try to be aware of your thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations. Don't judge yourself or your experiences. Just observe them without judgment. Mindfulness can be a very powerful tool for self-discovery and growth. It can help us to understand ourselves better and to make better choices in our lives. If you are interested in learning more about mindfulness, there are many resources available. You can find books, articles, and online courses on the subject. You can also find mindfulness groups and workshops in your area. Mindfulness is a practice that can benefit everyone. It can help us to live happier, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. If you are interested in learning more about mindfulness, I encourage you to give it a try. Sacred geometry, studying the mathematical patterns and structures that underlie the universe. Sacred geometry is the study of the mathematical patterns and structures that are found in nature and in the universe. These patterns are often found in religious and spiritual traditions and are believed to hold a deep significance. One of the most common sacred geometric shapes is the circle. The circle is a symbol of wholeness and perfection, and it is often found in religious iconography. For example, the sun is often depicted as a circle, and the halos of saints are also circular. Another common sacred geometric shape is the square. The square is a symbol of stability and order, and it is often found in architecture. For example, many churches and temples are built in a square or rectangular shape. The triangle is another important sacred geometric shape. The triangle is a symbol of the Trinity, and it is often found in religious art. For example, the Jewish Star of David is composed of triangles. These are just a few examples of the many sacred geometric shapes that are found in nature and in the universe. These shapes are believed to hold a deep significance, and they are often used in religious and spiritual traditions. There is a growing body of scientific evidence that suggests that sacred geometry is more than just a set of symbols. Studies have shown that sacred geometric shapes can have a positive effect on our mental and physical health. For example, studies have shown that people who spend time in environments that are designed using sacred geometry report feeling more relaxed and at peace. Sacred geometry is a fascinating and complex topic that has been studied for centuries. It is a field that is still in its early stages of development. But there is a growing body of evidence that suggests that sacred geometry is more than just a set of symbols. It is a real and powerful force that can have a positive impact on our lives. Energy healing, exploring various modalities for healing and balancing the energetic body. In recent years, there has been a growing interest in alternative healing practices that focus on the energetic body. Energy healing is a holistic approach that aims to restore balance and harmony to the body's subtle energy systems. Through the use of different modalities, practitioners tap into the body's natural ability to heal itself. Before we explore the different modalities of energy healing, it is important to understand the concept of the energetic body. According to ancient traditions and modern scientific research, the human body is not just made up of physical matter, but also consists of an intricate network of energy pathways. These pathways, often referred to as meridians or chakras, are responsible for the flow of vital life force energy, also known as chi or prana. The modalities for energy healing include Reiki. Reiki is a Japanese form of energy healing that involves the practitioner channeling universal life force energy into the client's body. The practitioner uses their hands to gently balance and harmonize the client's energy, promoting relaxation, stress reduction, and overall well-being. Acupuncture. Acupuncture is an ancient Chinese healing modality that involves the insertion of thin needles into specific points along the body's meridian pathways. By stimulating these points, acupuncture helps to restore the flow of energy, alleviate pain, and promote healing. Crystal healing. Crystal healing utilizes the energy properties of different crystals and gemstones to restore balance and harmony to the energetic body. Crystals are placed on or around the body, and their unique vibrations help to remove blockages, cleanse, and energize the energy centers. Sound healing. Sound healing involves the use of various sound frequencies, such as singing bowls, tuning forks, or chanting, to create harmonic vibrations that resonate with the body's energy centers. This modality helps to release stagnant energy, promote relaxation, and restore balance. Aromatherapy. Aromatherapy utilizes the therapeutic properties of essential oils to balance and heal the energetic body. Certain oils have specific energetic qualities that can be used to stimulate or calm the energy centers, promoting overall well-being. Energy healing offers a wide range of benefits for the individual seeking holistic healing. Some of the benefits include stress reduction and relaxation. Energy healing modalities help to release tension and promote deep relaxation, reducing stress levels. Pain relief. By restoring the flow of energy, energy healing can alleviate physical pain and discomfort. Emotional healing and release. Energy healing can help to release trapped emotions and promote emotional well-being. Improved sleep. Energy healing can help to balance the body's energy and promote restful sleep. Increased vitality and energy levels. Energy healing can enhance the body's energy levels and promote overall vitality. Enhanced emotional and spiritual well-being. Energy healing can support emotional and spiritual growth, leading to a greater sense of well-being and connection. Energy healing is a powerful and effective modality for healing and balancing the energetic body. By tapping into the body's natural ability to heal itself, energy healing modalities such as Reiki, acupuncture, crystal healing, sound healing, and aromatherapy can bring about profound physical, emotional, and spiritual transformation. As we continue to explore and embrace these alternative healing practices, we open ourselves to a world of holistic well-being and self-discovery. Spiritual bypassing. Using spiritual explanations to dismiss or avoid complicated emotions. Spiritual bypassing is a term used to describe the use of spiritual beliefs or practices to avoid dealing with difficult emotions or psychological issues. It can be a way of avoiding pain or discomfort, or of feeling superior to others who are struggling. While spirituality can be a helpful tool for healing, it is important to be aware of the potential for spiritual bypassing. There are a number of ways that people can use spirituality to avoid dealing with their problems. One common way is to focus on the positive and deny the negative. This can involve believing that everything happens for a reason, or that God will take care of everything. While it is important to have a positive outlook, it is also important to be realistic and to acknowledge the challenges that we face. Another way that people can use spirituality to avoid their problems is to see themselves as being better than others. This can involve believing that they are more enlightened or spiritual than others, or that they have a special connection to God. While it is important to have self-confidence, it is also important to be humble and to recognize that we are all human beings who make mistakes. Finally, people can use spirituality to avoid their problems by withdrawing from the world. This can involve spending a lot of time alone or by joining a religious community that discourages interaction with the outside world. While it is important to take time for rest and reflection, it is also important to stay connected to the world and to engage with others. There are a number of potential pitfalls associated with spiritual bypassing. One pitfall is that it can lead to a lack of self-awareness. When people avoid dealing with their problems, they are not able to learn from them and grow as individuals. This can lead to a sense of stagnation and unhappiness. Another pitfall of spiritual bypassing is that it can lead to isolation. When people withdraw from the world, they lose out on the opportunity to connect with others and to receive support. This can lead to feelings of loneliness and despair. Finally, spiritual bypassing can lead to a sense of entitlement. When people believe that they are better than others, they may not be willing to accept responsibility for their actions. This can lead to problems in relationships and in the workplace. It is important to be aware of the potential pitfalls of spiritual bypassing so that you can avoid them. If you are struggling with difficult emotions or psychological issues, it is important to seek professional help. A therapist can help you to develop healthy coping mechanisms and to work through your problems in a constructive way. Spirituality can be a powerful tool for healing, but it is important to use it in a healthy way. By being aware of the potential pitfalls of spiritual bypassing, you can avoid them and use spirituality to its full potential. Shamanism, exploring indigenous spiritual practices and connecting with the spirit world. Shamanism is a spiritual practice that has been around for centuries. It is found in many indigenous cultures around the world, and it is based on the belief that there is a spirit world that exists alongside the physical world. Shamans are people who have the ability to communicate with the spirit world and to use this knowledge to help others. There are many different ways to practice shamanism, but some common practices include rituals. Shamans often perform rituals to connect with the spirit world. These rituals can involve drumming, dancing, chanting, or other forms of spiritual expression. Healing. Shamans use their connection with the spirit world to help people heal from physical, emotional, and spiritual problems. They may use traditional medicines, rituals, or energy healing techniques to help people heal. Divination. Shamans can also use their connection with the spirit world to help people with divination. This can involve reading the future, finding lost objects, or communicating with deceased loved ones. Shamanism is a powerful spiritual practice that can be used for healing, guidance, and transformation. If you are interested in learning more about shamanism, there are many resources available online and in libraries. Soul contracts and soulmates, exploring the idea of predestined relationships and agreements made before birth. The idea of soul contracts and soulmates is a fascinating one that has been explored by many cultures and spiritual traditions. The basic premise is that we all have soul contracts that we agreed to before we were born. These contracts can include agreements about our life purpose, our relationships, and our challenges. Soulmates are people who are said to be our perfect match. They are people who we have a deep connection with and who help us to grow and evolve as individuals. Soulmates can be romantic partners, friends, or even family members. It is important to note that not everyone believes in soul contracts or soulmates. Some people believe that our relationships are simply the result of chance, or that we create our own destinies through our choices and actions. However, for those who believe in soul contracts and soulmates, these beliefs can be a source of great comfort and inspiration. If you believe in soul contracts and soulmates, it is important to remember that these are not set in stone. We can always choose to change our lives and our relationships, and we can always choose to learn from our mistakes and grow as individuals. The idea of soul contracts and soulmates is not meant to be limiting, but rather to help us to understand our lives and our relationships more deeply. By exploring these ideas, we can come to a greater understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. Conclusion. I hope that the spirit of future progress has led you on a journey of discovery and helped you realize that the future you have longed for is deeply intertwined with the past. The future indeed has an ancient heart. The key to a sustainable and harmonious future lay in honoring the wisdom of our ancestors, who understood that progress should not be measured solely by technological advancements or material prosperity, but by the preservation of nature, culture, and the well-being of all beings. I hope that you are inspired to create a world where innovation coexists with ancient traditions, where progress is balanced with reverence for the past, and where ancient wisdom that has been passed down through generations is blended with cutting-edge technologies and forward-thinking ideas. Bites at the Apple by Brother Bobby James Flavin, January 28, 2024. Introduction. When I started writing this book, I wanted to delve into a thought-provoking exploration of the philosophy of failure, open-mindedness, and divine intervention. Given my love of literature, cinema, and television, I have drawn upon examples from popular culture to examine the complexities of these concepts and their profound impact on our lives. This book examines failure not as a negative outcome, but as a valuable opportunity for growth and learning. It also emphasizes the importance of open-mindedness in embracing diverse perspectives and experiences, and explores how preconceived notions and biases can limit our understanding of the world, encouraging an approach to life with a sense of curiosity and wonder. Within the book, I also explore the concept of divine intervention, examining how it manifests in unexpected ways and offering insights into the role it plays in shaping human lives, inviting readers to consider the possibility of a higher power guiding our paths. I examine these and other topics through the lens of popular culture, including from classic works of literature to contemporary films. I hope that Bites at the Apple provides a unique perspective on failure, open-mindedness, and divine intervention, and that you are encouraged to embrace life's challenges and discover the transformative power of these concepts. The philosophy of failure. Failure is an essential part of life. Over the years, I've come to believe that there are no failures in life. Instead, failure results in lessons to be learned. This is a powerful statement that challenges the traditional view of failure as something to be avoided. This is based on the belief that we can learn from our mistakes and grow from them. When you fall down, get back up, dust yourself off, and try again. No one can tell you that you can't do something. You can do anything you set your mind to. This philosophy of failure can be applied to our own lives in a number of ways. First, it can help us to see failure as a learning opportunity. When we fail, we can learn from our mistakes and make better choices in the future. Second, it can help us to build resilience. When we are faced with failure, we can remember that it is not the end of the world. We can pick ourselves up and start again. Third, it can help us to stay motivated. When we believe that we can achieve anything we set our minds to, we are more likely to persevere in the face of challenges. This view of failure is a powerful one that can help us to live more successful and fulfilling lives. When we view failure as a learning opportunity, we can build resilience and motivation. We can also avoid the trap of perfectionism and learn to accept ourselves for who we are. Facing failure can be daunting, even when you have the perspective that it is an opportunity to learn and grow. Two topics that I believe can help individuals when faced with failure are open-mindedness and divine intervention. Next, I'll explore both of these topics in more detail. The power of open-mindedness. Introduction. Open-mindedness is the willingness to consider new ideas, even if they conflict with your current beliefs. It is the opposite of closed-mindedness, which is the tendency to reject new ideas without considering them. Open-mindedness is important for several reasons. First, it allows us to learn new things and grow as individuals. When we are open to new ideas, we are more likely to be exposed to different perspectives and ways of thinking. This can help us to develop our critical thinking skills and become more well-rounded individuals. Second, open-mindedness can help us to solve problems more effectively. When we are open to new ideas, we are more likely to come up with creative solutions to problems. We are also more likely to be willing to try new things, which can lead to new and innovative solutions. Third, open-mindedness can help us to build relationships with others. When we are open to new ideas, we are more likely to be understanding and tolerant of others. This can lead to stronger relationships with friends, family, and colleagues. Of course, there are times when it is important to be closed-minded. For example, we should not be open to ideas that are harmful or dangerous. However, in general, open-mindedness is a valuable trait that can help us to live more fulfilling and successful lives. Here are some tips for becoming more open-minded. Be willing to challenge your own beliefs. Listen to different perspectives with an open mind. Be open to new experiences. Be willing to admit when you are wrong. Be respectful of others' opinions, even if you disagree with them. Open-mindedness is a skill that can be learned and developed. By following these tips, you can become more open-minded and enjoy the many benefits that come with it. The nature of truth, challenging assumptions. The nature of truth. The nature of truth is a complex and multifaceted topic that has been debated by philosophers for centuries. There is no single definitive answer to the question of what truth is, but there are a number of different theories that have been proposed. One common theory is that truth is correspondence to reality. This means that a statement is true if it accurately reflects the way the world is. For example, the statement, "the sky is blue," is true because the sky actually is blue. Another theory of truth is that truth is coherence. This means that a statement is true if it fits in with our other beliefs and knowledge. For example, the statement, "the Earth is round," is true because it is consistent with our observations of the Earth's shape. Finally, some philosophers believe that truth is simply a matter of convention. This means that truth is whatever we agree to be true. For example, the statement, "the United States is a democracy," is true because we have agreed to define the United States as a democracy. These are just a few of the many theories of truth that have been proposed. There is no one right answer to the question of what truth is, but it is important to be aware of the different theories and to think critically about the nature of truth. Challenging assumptions. One of the most important things we can do to become more open-minded is to challenge our assumptions. Assumptions are beliefs that we take for granted without really thinking about them. They can be about anything, from the way the world works to our own beliefs and values. Challenging our assumptions is not always easy. It can be uncomfortable to have our beliefs challenged, and it can be difficult to admit that we might be wrong. However, it is essential to open-mindedness. If we are not willing to challenge our assumptions, we will never be able to learn new things or grow as individuals. There are many ways to challenge our assumptions. One way is to simply be aware of them. When we are aware of our assumptions, we can start to question them and see if they are really true. Another way to challenge our assumptions is to expose ourselves to new ideas and experiences. When we are exposed to new things, we are forced to confront our assumptions and either change them or find ways to justify them. Challenging our assumptions is not always easy, but it is essential to open-mindedness. By challenging our assumptions, we can open ourselves up to new possibilities and learn new things about the world. The art of questioning, nurturing curiosity, the importance of curiosity. Curiosity is the desire to know or learn something. It is a natural human trait that is essential for our growth and development. Curiosity drives us to explore the world around us, learn new things, and solve problems. It is also the foundation of creativity and innovation. There are many benefits to being curious. Curiosity can help us to learn new things and develop new skills, solve problems more effectively, be more creative and innovative, understand ourselves and others better, connect with others and build relationships, make better decisions, live a more fulfilling life. Of course, there are also times when curiosity can be harmful. For example, we can be curious about things that are private or personal to others or dangerous to us. It is important to use our curiosity wisely and to respect the boundaries of others. Overall, curiosity is a positive trait that can benefit us in many ways. It is important to nurture our curiosity and to encourage our children to be curious as well. By doing so, we can help them to learn and grow, to solve problems, and to live more fulfilling lives. The art of questioning. Questioning is a powerful tool that can be used to learn new things, solve problems, and grow as a person. It is the foundation of critical thinking and innovation. There are many different types of questions that can be asked. Some questions are open-ended, while others are closed-ended. Open-ended questions require more thought and reflection to answer, while closed-ended questions can be answered with a simple yes or no. It is important to ask good questions. Good questions are clear, concise, and specific. They are also relevant to the topic at hand. There are many benefits to asking questions. Questions can help us to learn new things, solve problems, develop our critical thinking skills, grow as a person, connect with others. Of course, there are also times when it is better not to ask questions. For example, we should not ask questions that are offensive or hurtful. We should also not ask questions that are too personal or private. Overall, questioning is a valuable skill that can benefit us in many ways. It is important to learn how to ask good questions and to use them to our advantage. The limits of knowledge, embracing uncertainty. The limits of knowledge. The limits of knowledge are the boundaries that define what we can know and what we cannot know. These limits are imposed by the nature of reality, our own cognitive abilities, and the limitations of our tools and methods of inquiry. The nature of reality is one of the most fundamental limits to knowledge. We can never know everything about reality because there is always more to learn. Even if we could learn everything about the universe, we would never be able to know everything about ourselves, because we are part of the universe and we are constantly changing. Our own cognitive abilities are another limit to knowledge. We are limited by our senses, our ability to reason, and our capacity for memory. We can only perceive a small fraction of the reality that exists, and we can only understand a small fraction of what we perceive. The limitations of our tools and methods of inquiry are also a limit to knowledge. Our tools can only measure a limited range of things, and our methods of inquiry can only be used to answer a limited range of questions. The limits of knowledge are not always easy to accept. We may feel frustrated by the fact that we cannot know everything, or we may be afraid of the unknown. However, it is important to remember that the limits of knowledge are also a source of wonder and mystery. They remind us that there is always more to learn and that the world is a vast and complex place. Embracing uncertainty. Uncertainty is a fact of life. We cannot know everything, and we cannot control everything. This can be a source of anxiety and stress, but it can also be a source of opportunity and growth. When we embrace uncertainty, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. We are more likely to be creative and innovative, and we are more likely to take risks. We are also more likely to be resilient in the face of challenges. Embracing uncertainty does not mean that we should be reckless or irresponsible. It simply means that we should accept that there are things that we do not know and cannot control. We should focus on what we can know and control, and we should be prepared to adapt to change. Embracing uncertainty can be difficult, but it is essential for a fulfilling life. When we embrace uncertainty, we are free to explore our potential and create our own destiny. Perspectives and paradigms. Understanding different worldviews, perspectives and paradigms. The way we see the world is shaped by our perspectives and paradigms. Our perspectives are our individual ways of looking at the world, while our paradigms are the shared beliefs and assumptions that form the foundation of our worldview. Our perspectives are shaped by our experiences, our education, our culture, and our values. We all have different perspectives, and these differences can lead to conflict and misunderstanding. However, our different perspectives can also be a source of creativity and innovation. When we are exposed to different perspectives, we are forced to think outside of the box and consider new ways of seeing the world. Our paradigms are even more fundamental than our perspectives. Our paradigms are the basic assumptions that we make about the world. These assumptions are often unconscious, and we may not even be aware of them. However, our paradigms have a powerful influence on our thoughts, feelings, and behavior. When our paradigms are challenged, it can be uncomfortable. We may feel threatened or defensive. However, it is important to be open to new ideas and to be willing to challenge our own paradigms. By doing so, we can expand our understanding of the world and become more open-minded individuals. Understanding different worldviews. There are many different ways to view the world. These different worldviews are shaped by our cultures, our religions, our philosophies, and our personal experiences. One of the most common worldviews is the scientific worldview. This worldview is based on the belief that the world is governed by natural laws that can be discovered through observation and experimentation. The scientific worldview has led to many advances in our understanding of the world, but it has also been criticized for being too narrow and reductionist. Another common worldview is the religious worldview. This worldview is based on the belief that there is a higher power or being that created the world and that has a plan for humanity. The religious worldview has provided comfort and guidance to many people, but it has also been criticized for being too dogmatic and for promoting intolerance. There are many other worldviews, including the philosophical, the artistic, and the political worldviews. Each worldview has its own strengths and weaknesses, and it is important to be open to different perspectives. By understanding different worldviews, we can gain a richer and more nuanced understanding of the world. The role of rationality, balancing reason and intuition. The role of rationality. Rationality is the ability to think clearly and logically and to make decisions based on reason. It is a key component of intelligence, and it is essential for success in many areas of life, such as education, business, and science. There are two main types of rationality: analytical and intuitive. Analytical rationality involves using logic and reasoning to solve problems. Intuitive rationality involves using gut feelings and instincts to make decisions. Both types of rationality are important, and they often work together to help us make good decisions. When we are faced with a decision, it is important to weigh the evidence carefully and to consider all of the possible outcomes. We should also be aware of our biases and prejudices, and we should try to avoid making decisions based on emotion. By using rationality, we can make better decisions that are more likely to lead to positive outcomes. However, it is also important to remember that rationality is not always perfect. We can make mistakes, and we can sometimes be misled by our own biases. Therefore, it is important to be open to new information and to be willing to change our minds when presented with new evidence. Overall, rationality is a valuable tool that can help us make better decisions. However, it is important to use rationality in conjunction with other decision-making skills, such as intuition and creativity. Balancing reason and intuition. Reason and intuition are two important ways of thinking that can help us make good decisions. Reason is based on logic and evidence, while intuition is based on gut feelings and instincts. Both types of thinking are important, and they often work together to help us make decisions. Intuition can help us to make quick decisions, and it can sometimes help us to see things that reason cannot. However, it is important to remember that intuition is not always reliable. We should always be careful not to make decisions based on intuition alone. The best way to make good decisions is to balance reason and intuition. We should use reason to weigh the evidence and consider all of the possible outcomes. We should also use intuition to help us make quick decisions and to see things that reason cannot. By balancing reason and intuition, we can make better decisions that are more likely to lead to positive outcomes. The ethics of open-mindedness. Empathy and compassion. Empathy and compassion. Empathy and compassion are two essential qualities for open-mindedness. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. Compassion is the desire to help others and to alleviate their suffering. When we are empathetic, we can see the world from another person's perspective, and we are more likely to be open to their ideas and experiences. Compassion motivates us to take action to help others, and it can help us to build bridges between different people and cultures. There are many ways to develop empathy and compassion. One way is to spend time with people who are different from us. This can help us to see the world from their perspective and to understand their experiences. Another way to develop empathy is to practice mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation helps us to focus on the present moment and to be aware of our thoughts and feelings. When we are mindful, we are more likely to be open to the experiences of others. Empathy and compassion are essential for open-mindedness because they help us to understand and respect different perspectives. When we are empathetic, we are less likely to judge others, and we are more likely to be open to their ideas. Compassion motivates us to take action to help others, and it can help us to build bridges between different people and cultures. The ethics of open-mindedness. Open-mindedness is a moral virtue. It is the willingness to consider new ideas and perspectives, even if they differ from ours. Open-mindedness is essential for critical thinking, creativity, and innovation. It is also essential for a healthy democracy. There are many ethical reasons to be open-minded. First, open-mindedness allows us to learn from others. When we are open to new ideas, we are more likely to find better solutions to problems. Second, open-mindedness helps us to avoid making mistakes. When we are closed-minded, we are more likely to cling to our beliefs even when they are wrong. Third, open-mindedness makes us more tolerant of others. When we are open to different perspectives, we are less likely to judge others. Of course, there are also ethical challenges to open-mindedness. Sometimes we need to be closed-minded to protect ourselves from harm. For example, we should not be open-minded to the idea that it is okay to harm others. However, we should be open-minded to the idea that there are different ways to solve problems and different perspectives on the world. The ethics of open-mindedness is a complex topic. There are no easy answers. However, it is clear that open-mindedness is a moral virtue that is essential for a good life. The courage to change, embracing new ideas. The courage to change, open-mindedness, is the willingness to consider new ideas and to change our minds when presented with new evidence. It is a critical skill for success in today's world, where change is constant and new ideas are constantly emerging. However, open-mindedness can be difficult, especially when we are faced with ideas that challenge our beliefs or values. There are many reasons why we might resist change. We may be afraid of the unknown, or we may be attached to our current beliefs. We may also be afraid of being wrong, or we may feel threatened by the idea of change. Whatever the reason, it is important to remember that change is not always a bad thing. In fact, change can be a positive force for growth and development. When we are open to new ideas, we open ourselves up to new opportunities and experiences. We can learn new things, grow as individuals, and make a positive impact on the world. The courage to change is not easy, but it is essential for a fulfilling and successful life. When we are willing to change, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. We can achieve our goals, make a difference in the world, and live a life that is truly our own. Embracing new ideas. New ideas are the lifeblood of innovation and progress. They are what allow us to solve problems, create new products and services, and improve our lives. However, new ideas can also be scary. They can challenge our beliefs, our values, and our comfort zones. That's why it's important to be open to new ideas. When we are open to new ideas, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. We can learn new things, grow as individuals, and make a positive impact on the world. There are many ways to embrace new ideas. One way is to be curious and to seek out new information. Another way is to be open to different perspectives and to be willing to listen to others. We can also learn to be more tolerant of ambiguity and uncertainty. Embracing new ideas is not always easy. It can be difficult to let go of our old beliefs and to accept new ways of thinking. However, it is essential for growth and progress. When we are open to new ideas, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. The power of critical thinking. Evaluating arguments and evidence. Critical thinking and evaluating arguments. Critical thinking is the ability to think clearly and rationally about information. It is a skill that can be learned and developed, and it is essential for success in school, work, and life in general. One of the most important aspects of critical thinking is the ability to evaluate arguments and evidence. When you are presented with an argument, you need to be able to assess its validity and whether or not it is supported by evidence. This can be a difficult task, but it is important to be able to do it if you want to make informed decisions. There are a few things you can do to evaluate an argument. First, you need to identify the premises and the conclusion. The premises are the statements that support the conclusion, and the conclusion is the statement that the argument is trying to prove. Once you have identified the premises and the conclusion, you can start to evaluate the argument. One way to evaluate an argument is to look at the evidence. Is the evidence relevant to the claim? Is it sufficient to support the conclusion? If the evidence is not relevant or sufficient, then the argument is not valid. Another way to evaluate an argument is to look at the logic. Is the argument logically sound? Does the conclusion follow logically from the premises? If the logic is not sound, then the argument is not valid. Finally, you need to consider the author's credibility. Is the author an expert on the topic? Does the author have any biases that might affect the argument? If the author is not credible, then the argument is not valid. Evaluating arguments and evidence is an important skill that can help you make informed decisions. By taking the time to evaluate arguments, you can protect yourself from being misled by false or misleading information. The beauty of intellectual humility. Embracing the unknown. The beauty of intellectual humility. Intellectual humility is the ability to recognize the limits of our knowledge and to be open to new ideas. It is the opposite of arrogance, which is the belief that we know everything or that our beliefs are always correct. Intellectual humility is essential for critical thinking and open-mindedness. It allows us to be more objective and to consider all sides of an issue. There are many benefits to intellectual humility. First, it helps us to avoid making mistakes. When we are humble, we are more likely to be open to new information and to change our minds when presented with new evidence. This can help us to avoid making costly mistakes in our personal and professional lives. Second, intellectual humility makes us more effective communicators. When we are humble, we are more likely to listen to others and consider their perspectives. This can help us to build relationships and to find common ground. Third, intellectual humility makes us more creative. When we are humble, we are more likely to be open to new ideas and to experiment with different approaches. This can lead to new insights and innovations. In conclusion, intellectual humility is a valuable trait that can help us to live more successful and fulfilling lives. It is the opposite of arrogance, and it is essential for critical thinking and open-mindedness, embracing the unknown. The unknown is a vast and mysterious place. It is full of possibilities and potential, but it can also be frightening and daunting. However, embracing the unknown is essential for growth and progress. When we embrace the unknown, we are open to new experiences and new ideas. We are willing to learn and to grow. We are not afraid to make mistakes because we know that mistakes are a necessary part of the learning process. Embracing the unknown also requires us to be humble. We must recognize that we do not know everything and that there is always more to learn. We must be willing to ask questions and to listen to others. Embracing the unknown is not always easy, but it is always worth it. When we embrace the unknown, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. We can learn new things, grow as individuals, and make a difference in the world. The next time you are faced with the unknown, don't be afraid. Embrace it. Step into the darkness and see what you can find. You might be surprised by what you discover. The transformational journey, opening minds, changing lives. The transformational journey is a process of change that can lead to a deeper understanding of oneself and the world around us. It is a journey that can open our minds to new possibilities and change our lives for the better. There are many different paths to transformation, but all of them involve a willingness to let go of old beliefs and embrace new ideas. It is a journey that can be challenging and uncomfortable, but it is also one that is incredibly rewarding. When we open our minds to new ideas, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. We learn to see the world in a new way, and we become more open to change. This can lead to a more fulfilling life, both personally and professionally. For example, a person who is open to new ideas may be more likely to try new things, meet new people, and learn new skills. They may also be more likely to take risks and to pursue their dreams. In addition to opening up new possibilities, transformation can also lead to personal growth. When we challenge our old beliefs and learn new things, we grow as individuals. We become more confident and more capable. We also become more compassionate and understanding of others. Transformation can be a lifelong journey, and it is worth taking. When we open our minds to new ideas and embrace change, we can change our lives for the better. Embracing open-mindedness for a better future. In the previous sections, we have explored the importance of open-mindedness and intellectual humility. We have seen that these qualities are essential for critical thinking, creativity, and innovation. We have also seen that they are essential for a more just and equitable world. In this final section, we will discuss the importance of embracing open-mindedness for a better future. We will argue that open-mindedness is a necessary condition for progress, and that it is essential for solving the most pressing challenges facing humanity today. Open-mindedness and progress. Open-mindedness is a necessary condition for progress. When we are open to new ideas, we are more likely to find new solutions to problems. We are also more likely to be creative and to come up with new ideas. This is why open-mindedness is so important for innovation. In the past, open-mindedness has been essential for many of the great advances in human history. For example, the scientific revolution was made possible by the open-mindedness of scientists who were willing to challenge old ideas and explore new possibilities. The same is true for the civil rights movement, which was led by people who were open to the idea that all people are created equal. Today, we face many challenges that require us to be open-minded. We need to find new ways to address climate change, to solve the global refugee crisis, and to promote peace and security. We cannot solve these problems if we are closed-minded and unwilling to consider new ideas. Open-mindedness and a better future. Open-mindedness is essential for a better future. For example, open-mindedness is essential for creating a more just and equitable world. When we are open to the experiences of others, we are more likely to understand their perspectives and to be sympathetic to their needs. This can lead to policies and practices that are more fair and equitable for everyone. Open-mindedness is also essential for creating a more sustainable world. When we are open to new ideas about how to live on our planet, we are more likely to find ways to reduce our impact on the environment. This can lead to a healthier planet for ourselves and future generations. In conclusion, open-mindedness is a necessary condition for progress and a better future. We must all embrace open-mindedness and intellectual humility if we want to create a better future for ourselves and our children. Divine intervention, how it can impact positive change. Introduction. There are a number of ways that divine intervention can impact positive change. For example, divine intervention can help people overcome challenges and obstacles, provide guidance and direction, bring people together, inspire people to make a difference in the world. Of course, not everyone believes in divine intervention. Some people believe that everything that happens in the world is simply the result of natural causes. However, even if you do not believe in divine intervention, it is still important to be open to the possibility that there may be something more to life than what we can see and understand. Divine intervention is a complex and controversial topic, but it is worth exploring. Whether you believe in it or not, it is clear that it can have a profound impact on people's lives. Guidance and direction. For some people, divine intervention can provide guidance and direction in times of confusion or uncertainty. It can help them make better decisions and choose the right path in life, leading to positive outcomes and personal growth. There are many stories of people who've experienced divine intervention in their lives. For example, one woman who was struggling with addiction prayed for help, and she suddenly felt a strong urge to go to a meeting for Alcoholics Anonymous. She went to the meeting and found the support she needed to get sober. Another example is a man who was facing a difficult decision about his career. He prayed for guidance, and he had a dream in which he saw himself working in a new field. He followed his dream and found a new job that he loved. These are just two examples of how divine intervention can provide guidance and direction in times of need. When we open ourselves to the possibility of divine intervention, we can receive the help and support we need to make the right choices and live our best lives. How to receive divine intervention. If you are open to the possibility of divine intervention, there are a few things you can do to increase your chances of receiving it. First, pray for guidance and direction. Ask God or a higher power to help you make the right choices and to show you the right path. Second, be open to signs and messages from the divine. This could mean paying attention to your dreams, intuition, or even random coincidences. Third, be willing to act on the guidance you receive. If you feel like you're being called to do something, even if it's scary or difficult, don't be afraid to take the leap. Divine intervention is not always easy to recognize. It can come in the form of a sudden inspiration, a helpful coincidence, or a gentle nudge from a higher power. But when you are open to it, divine intervention can provide you with the guidance and direction you need to live your best life. How divine intervention can give you strength and resilience to overcome challenges and adversities. There are many ways in which divine intervention can give you strength and resilience to overcome challenges and adversities. For some people, it can provide a sense of comfort and peace during difficult times. Knowing that there is a higher power looking out for you can help you feel less alone and more confident in your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. Divine intervention can also provide you with guidance and direction. When you are faced with a difficult decision, you may pray for guidance and receive a sign from God that points you in the right direction. This can be a great source of strength and resilience, as it can help you to feel confident that you are making the right decision. In some cases, divine intervention can even take the form of a miraculous event. This can be a powerful reminder that God is with you and that He is working in your life. A miraculous event can give you hope and inspiration, and it can help you to persevere through even the most difficult challenges. Of course, not everyone experiences divine intervention in the same way. Some people may never experience it at all. However, For those who do, it can be a powerful source of strength and resilience. It can help you to overcome challenges, find peace amid difficult times, and make the right decisions. How divine intervention can provide comfort and support during difficult times. When you are going through a difficult time, it can be easy to feel alone and isolated. You may feel like no one understands what you are going through, and you may be tempted to give up. However, it is important to remember that you are not alone. God is with you, and He cares about what you are going through. There are many ways in which God can provide comfort and support during difficult times. For some people, it may be through prayer. When you pray, you are opening your heart to God and allowing Him to comfort you. Prayer can also help you to find peace and strength in your struggles. For others, God may provide comfort and support through other people. He may send you a friend or family member who can offer you support and encouragement. He may also use people in your community to help you through your difficult time. No matter how God chooses to provide comfort and support, it is important to remember that He is always with you. He cares about you, and He wants to help you through your difficult time. If you are going through a difficult time, don't be afraid to reach out to God for help. He is always there for you, and He wants to help you through your struggles. Healing and transformation. For many people, divine intervention has been a source of healing and transformation. When we are faced with challenges or difficulties, we may turn to God for help. We may pray for guidance, strength, or comfort, and sometimes we may experience a miracle. A miracle is a sudden, unexpected event that defies the laws of nature and is attributed to a supernatural cause. Miracles can be a powerful source of healing and transformation. They can give us hope when we are feeling hopeless, strength when we are feeling weak, and courage when we are feeling afraid. If you are struggling with a difficult situation, I encourage you to turn to God for help. Pray for guidance, strength, and courage, and don't give up hope. God can work miracles in your life: personal growth, forgiveness, and inner peace. Divine intervention can also lead to personal growth, forgiveness, and inner peace. When we experience a miracle, it can open our eyes to the power of God and the possibility of a higher purpose for our lives. It can also help us to forgive those who have hurt us and to let go of the anger and resentment that we may be holding on to. And it can lead us to a deeper sense of inner peace and contentment. Divine intervention can lead to personal growth, forgiveness, and inner peace, and help people overcome their difficulties through faith in God. People can find hope and strength in prayer, and may be able to forgive others and let go of any anger and resentment they are holding on to. Increased awareness and gratitude. When we experience divine intervention, it can have a profound impact on our lives. It can help us to become more aware of the blessings in our lives, and it can also help us to develop a greater sense of gratitude. When we are aware of the blessings in our lives, we are more likely to be happy and content. We are also more likely to be grateful for the good things that we have, and we are less likely to take them for granted. Gratitude is a powerful emotion. It has been shown to have several positive effects on our health and well-being. Gratitude can reduce stress, improve our mood, and boost our immune system. It can also help us to build stronger relationships with others. When we experience divine intervention, it can help us to develop a greater sense of gratitude. We may come to realize that we are not in control of everything and that there is a higher power that is looking out for us. This can help us to let go of our worries and anxieties and to trust that everything will work out for the best. Divine intervention can also help us to recognize and appreciate the beauty and goodness that surrounds us. When we see the world through the eyes of faith, we are more likely to see the good in people and to find beauty in the ordinary things around us. This can help us to live a more positive and fulfilling life. Divine intervention can enhance our awareness and gratitude for the blessings in our lives in many ways. First, it can help us to see the world through a different lens. When we believe that there is a higher power that is watching over us, we are more likely to see the world as a place of beauty and goodness. We are more likely to be grateful for the small things in life, and we are less likely to take things for granted. Second, divine intervention can help us to develop a stronger sense of purpose. When we believe that we are being guided by a higher power, we are more likely to feel confident and motivated. We are more likely to believe that we can achieve our goals, and we are less likely to give up when things get tough. Third, divine intervention can help us to connect with others. When we share our beliefs with others, we can build strong relationships and find support. We can also learn from others, and we can grow in our faith. Finally, divine intervention can help us to find peace and contentment. When we know that we are not alone and that we are being watched over by a higher power, we can feel a sense of peace and security. We can let go of our worries and anxieties, and we can focus on living our lives to the fullest. Divine intervention can have a profound impact on our lives. It can help us to become more aware of the blessings in our lives, and it can also help us to develop a greater sense of gratitude. When we are grateful for the good things in our lives, we are more likely to be happy and content. We are also more likely to be successful in our endeavors. Connection and unity. Divine intervention can foster a sense of connection and unity with others and with the world around us. When we believe that there is a higher power that is watching over us and guiding us, we feel a sense of comfort and security. This can lead to a greater sense of empathy and compassion for others, as we realize that we are all connected and that we are all on this journey together. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. When we have empathy, we can see the world from another person's perspective and understand their needs and motivations. This can help us to build stronger relationships with others and to create a more harmonious world. Compassion is the desire to help others who are suffering. When we have compassion, we are motivated to act to alleviate the suffering of others. This can lead to positive social change and a more just and equitable world. Divine intervention can also help us to develop a greater understanding of the interconnectedness of all beings. When we believe that we are all connected to a higher power, we realize that we are all part of something bigger than ourselves. This can lead to a greater sense of purpose and meaning in our lives. Divine intervention can also help us to overcome our fears and limitations. When we believe that there is a higher power that is watching over us and guiding us, we feel less alone and more confident. This can help us to take risks and to try new things, which can lead to greater connection with others and a more fulfilling life. Finally, divine intervention can help us to connect with the natural world. When we believe that there is a higher power that is present in all of creation, we feel more connected to the natural world. This can lead to a greater appreciation for nature and a more harmonious relationship with the environment. As we develop a greater sense of connection and unity with others and with the world around us, we are more likely to live in a more positive and harmonious way. We are more likely to be compassionate and to help others. We are more likely to understand the world from different perspectives. And we are more likely to find meaning and purpose in our lives. Divine intervention and life purpose. There are many ways that divine intervention can reveal your life's purpose. One common way is through answered prayers. When you pray for guidance or direction, God may answer your prayer by giving you a clear sense of what you are meant to do. This may be a specific task or goal, or it may be a more general sense of direction. Another way that divine intervention can reveal your life's purpose is through miraculous events. These are events that seem to defy the laws of nature and that often have a profound impact on people's lives. A miraculous event can be a sign from God that you are on the right path, or it can be a way for God to open your eyes to your true purpose. Finally, divine intervention can also reveal your life's purpose through a feeling of guidance or direction. This may be a feeling that you are being called to do something specific, or it may be a sense that you are being led by God. This feeling can be very strong, and it can often be difficult to ignore. If you feel that you are being called to do something specific, it is important to listen to that calling and follow it. This may not always be easy, but it is important to trust that God has a plan for your life and that He will help you to achieve your purpose. Divine intervention can be a powerful force in revealing your life's purpose. If you are open to it, God can use it to guide you on the right path and to help you to achieve your full potential. Divine intervention and meaning and fulfillment. Divine intervention can provide a sense of meaning and fulfillment in life. When you believe that God is working in your life, it can give you a sense of purpose and direction. You may feel like you are part of something bigger than yourself and that you are being guided by a higher power. This can help you to feel more confident and motivated, and it can make it easier to overcome challenges. In addition to providing a sense of meaning and purpose, divine intervention can also lead to a sense of fulfillment. When you feel like you are doing something important and worthwhile, it can make you feel good about yourself. You may feel like you are making a difference in the world and that you are contributing to something greater than yourself. This can give you a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment, and it can make your life feel more meaningful. Of course, not everyone believes in divine intervention. However, for those who do, it can be a powerful force in providing a sense of meaning and fulfillment in life.